All right. Is this thing on? I forget how we do this. It's been a while for me. All right. Welcome, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is that you're tuning in from. I see we have a lot of folks representing from the East Coast and the USA here. So, welcome. And wherever you're tuning in from, again, welcome to on .NET Live, which is 60 minutes of unscripted .NET entertainment. Our mission here is to empower the .NET community to achieve more. I'm your host, Luis, and I have my co-hosts here, David and Cam.
Hi.
Hello.
And, and today I'd like to welcome our guest, Ryan, who's going to talk to us about .NET and Azure Functions. So before we get into that, though, Ryan, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Okay. So again, I am Ryan Dizon, father of two wonderful children. I came from the Philippines and currently living here in Germany and working as a software development lead slash software architect. I have been in software development fields for almost 2 decades now, working with different platforms and frameworks. I have I have started this tech teach to learn journey this year, and since I am very particular and amazed with Azure serverless technology, I will be discussing this today, and hopefully I can help someone. And yeah,
Awesome.
So,
Yeah.
a teach to learn journey.
yes.
So, tell us about that. How's that going?
Um, because I have this in my mind that if I teach, because there's a lot of things that I really want to learn. So in order for me to learn that or to master something, I sometimes, well, not sometimes, I always teach someone to so that I will, if there's a questions that I cannot answer, then I will, after my presentation or after my teaching session, I will review that and research about that so that I will learn. Okay, so I don't know this yet, so okay, so I will research about that, so I will learn on that way. So
I
that's
think
why I
that's
called it teach to learn journey. I started this January 2023. So
I think that's fantastic. That's
yeah.
excellent.
Yeah, I was just going to say, someone said that they teach their rubber duck, and that's amazing. Rubber duck programming. That's what all these are for.
Awesome. So did we kind of want to just jump in?
The ninja
That's
duck.
a pretty large audience there.
So David, do the ducks talk back?
When it's late enough at night, they do, actually, and it's terrifying. Awesome. Cool. I love that. Why don't we jump right into it? Let's go ahead and share your screen here. And awesome.
Okay. So yeah, I can start now.
Go right ahead. The floor is yours, my
Okay.
friend.
So I already introduced myself. And yeah, I have this channels and social media pages. If you want to follow me and support me with this teach to learn journey, you can just subscribe to my channel. And yeah. So my agenda is all about, as I have mentioned, Azure Functions. I am very particular with serverless technology. That's why I picked this topic to share. I also have a background working with this one with old Azure Functions. I will I will briefly show some of the new features of Azure Functions. This is specifically, or the data developers will probably benefits of these new features. I'm not sure uh, if these will really be helpful for others, but yeah, I'm hoping. And the last one is I will explore some of the projects that I already created this morning. And yeah, let's go. So if we talk about the Azure Functions, I can't go further if I don't speak about serverless, which is really just kind of a continuation of a trend that's been going in the cloud to help development team to stop focusing on certain pieces of infrastructure that may not be unique to your platform or some other important parts of your project. Yeah, developers will be able to save more time focusing on what really matters based on their daily task, which is of course the actual code implementation based on the business requirements. So that's the ultimate target result of the serverless concept. Um, so so we try and move away from infrastructure where we can but obviously there's going to be places where you are still required to do something regarding that. I'm sure there are a lot of there are plenty of pure serverless apps out there, but a lot of them just a mix of some serverless type things or traditional technologies as well, where there's still going to be more operations. But for the serverless pieces, you have less to worry about that matter. You're gonna be able to react um, to all sorts of events, and their infrastructures can scale up and down for you if it's needed. And yeah, one of the most aspect of this serverless is mostly well, just you are just spending money when the code is currently running, and if it's not actually doing anything, then yeah, you don't need to pay something about that. Okay, so a functions as a service programming model use functions to achieve through serverless compute, through serverless compute. So as you can see here, there are functions that have single responsibility. They do one thing. They are not trying to have entire world capture in one function. So yeah, so short-lived means functions don't stay after they finish doing their job, making resource available for other tasks of the project or applications. And when we say about stateless, this means that functions don't remember things, so they don't depend on what other tasks are doing. So they are very independent. And then the scalability and making sure that aspect of infrastructure management is out of the way, which is a very huge part of its of it as well. So that's the general overview of serverless. And when we talk about functions, we have this event that causes the functions to be invoked. A piece of oops, sorry, again, a piece of code that actually do something with that, and then perhaps there's of course there's an output for that one. So it can be different programming languages here. So you can use Java, Python, Node, PHP by using the custom handler, and yeah, I forgot the other one. Of course, C sharp is there. .NET stacks are there. So you can it's up to you what programming language you want to use for this one. So to give you a more high level, well, more idea about how cost efficient this serverless computing is, specifically using Azure Functions. Let's, for example, we can compare between serverless computing and traditional computing. So for example, we have this backend service API, and we just want to get a response of JSON object, and that will take about 100 milliseconds. And in serverless computing, you will just need to pay for that runtime, which just 100 milliseconds, where I think it's not really that expensive. And if you compare that in traditional computing, so let's say you have this app service, or your backend, your full uh, web API is hosted in the app service, and uh, if that server is running for 72 hours, so you need to pay for that 72 hours. So imagine, or you can compare or you can do the math now, how cheap this serverless computing. The common function scenario. So you can, as stated here, you can use this as your web and mobile apps, application backends. You can also use this for machine learning, which I did not try it yet. For stream processing, so if you are, let's say, for example, you are working with image uploading tasks, you can do that. IoT backends, you can also work with IoT. Some scheduled task automations by just using the timer or timer events, and as well as the workflows and orchestrations. So probably there are the main questions here is, how can we start working with Azure Functions? So to begin with, you need to have this Azure development installed or added in your Visual Studio, so that you will have the capabilities of working with Azure Functions. So that was quick. So maybe I can share my Visual Studio now. Give me a sec.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So there were some questions that had come in, and
Mhm.
let's I'm going to scroll back through some of these because there was a lot of different things. So one of the questions was Ted from YouTube is saying that they're doing most of the work in a class library in .NET 8, and some things that they watch out for with Azure Functions. But that was kind of a follow-up to another thing.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
working.
not available yet. The .NET version 8 not available yet for Functions.
Oh, it's not. Oh, that's good to know. I
As
thought it
far
was
as I
announced.
remember, yes.
Okay.
As far as I remember, mm, maybe I was wrong for that one, but yeah, maybe I just didn't update my Visual Studio yet. But yes.
So they talk about working on an isolated Azure function timer trigger using .NET 8. And I wonder if they're not trying to validate their scenario here, but would it make sense to have Azure SQL Server databases being updated, like remaining up to date from external services running as a function? Is that something that you would advise?
If you are required to update your SQL database, why not? Because every most of the updated tools are good for your applications or for your project. So, but if it's not really necessary, if as of the moment, so that you don't need to think of the migration thing first.
Sure.
So
Yeah, and if it's like it's running as a timed job, so I guess that makes sense. We did have another question here from Code with Sean from Twitch. He says that he needs to know why a function with VNet integration needs its own subnet, and when using a private endpoint, another subnet. So that
I'm not sure about I'm not sure how to answer this very well,
Sure.
but I think
Okay.
the reason for this one is if you are working with internal functions to function communication, you will be needing this one. So there's a lot of different approach for Azure Functions, or sorry, what do you call this? Not approach. Uh, Oh, there's an internal structure that you can communicate between functions to functions. Sorry, I just got mixed up with that
Sure.
one. But yeah.
Okay. I'm looking at other things that are popping in here. Their chat is active, and some of them are answering each other. Okay. Oh yeah. So Ted was saying, yes, it's not available for integrated mode. Okay, that's good to know as a follow-up. And then Fuel Snapple from Twitch is saying that they're confused when testing, or when test running an Azure function locally that needs a storage emulator. So I'm imagining a scenario of trying to run an Azure function locally and test it with a storage emulator. Is that something that you've got experience with?
I will probably show how you can work with this
Okay.
storage emulator.
Okay.
Actually, that's what I'm about to do after this
Perfect.
question and answer.
Okay. Yeah. Keep the questions coming. We love them, and take it away, Ryan.
Okay. So I will just do a quick new project for this one. Create new project. So okay, since someone just asked about that blob storage, I'm gonna work with that one, or I'm gonna
leave all those options open real quick here. So that if you open that up one more time, so that's the function, and that's showing the possible things that can trigger a function. Is that true?
Yes. So these are the different events that the Azure Functions will invoke your code. So
Wow, that's crazy. So a
actually
blob. Go
mhm,
ahead.
actually the I think the most the newest trigger here is SQL trigger. I think Microsoft just added this last year, I think, which you this is very useful as per my understanding or as per my research, but I never had a chance to use it yet. But I will probably use this SQL trigger. Okay. So you can also for the questions about this emulator. So this Visual Studio will automatically create your blob storage locally. So if you actually you need to install this Azure storage Explorer for my so I have installed that for my for this session.
Yeah, just to clarify here real quick for folks in the chat, Michael's asking .NET 7 instead of .NET 8, and I believe this is just a matter of updating Visual Studio, right? Because it's currently available. .NET 8 support is available in isolated
Mhm.
Azure Functions.
Okay, so as you can see here, if you create this, let's say for example, if you create a Q trigger, you will be prompted to configure your local emulator. Actually, it started on my it was started on my different screen. I have three monitors, so that's why. But yeah, just next. Uh, no, let's just cancel that. So the first thing that you will see when you create that template or when you choose that template, you will have this structure where you have this constructor for your dependency injection. So in this case, in this template, you have this logger where it will just write the information. So let's just try that real quick. Oh, let's just run that real quick so that we will see. Mm. So here's the first trigger that we have. Actually, I forgot to add some breakpoint here, so we can check this the message here. So let's. So if I add some message here, let's say hello, that will be that function will be triggered by this queues. So and if you notice here also for the one who asked about this emulator, as you can see here, I'm using the emulator. I've just selected the Q trigger template, and yeah, let's try to send this. And that message or event has been captured inside this Q trigger. So that's very simple to. That's a very simple event or project.
So essentially, what happened there, if we take a step back and look at it holistically, you have an emulator that's running,
Uh-huh.
that's letting you kind of emulate a queue, and you're pushing something into the queue, and your Azure function is being triggered by that event.
Yes, correct.
Awesome.
And this is working locally, so I'm not yet connected to Azure portal. So in this case, you can create your solution locally. You don't need to have, you don't need to connect to your Azure account right away. If you want to test something, you can work locally first. So you can start small first, then do it later in a big way, or in a complex way. Okay, so that's a simple scenario, simple example. But I have here um, a project that um, I have already created and tested for. So let's just open that project, which unfortunately I closed accidentally or unintentionally. Wait, let me just open that again. Close this first. Okay, so let me just expand this. So this project is just a create add delete application, and if you notice here, actually this is an in process function app. So that's why I have a custom startup class here. I have to define this or to add this attribute to work with different configurations builder. This is I have created this using in process .NET 6.0, which is it's a little bit what do you call this, empty when you create a project using this one. So if we can try this. So what this simple application is, it just save data to database, and it's just fetching different uh, JSON object, and yeah, let's just run this quick also. Okay, it's running now. I'm still using Postman for different testings. So like what I have said, this is just a simple crude functionality or project where you can add and delete uh, data or item. So to examine this implementation, so we have this, we have the we are using HTTP trigger here, where we are fetching get and post method, and we are fetching the request object. And yeah, so this is just a straightforward example where you also have constructor for your dependency injection. Actually, I did this manually compared to what I will be showing you next. So this is just a straightforward. So if you are familiar with this route, so if you don't in Azure Functions, if you don't add this, your function name will be this one. Okay, let's just okay. So actually the latest features that I will be showing now is all about the about the how you will how you will work like you are working like with ASP.NET Core API. So because before, if you already work with Azure Functions, it's uh, um totally different project structure. Uh, and now you will have this a standard structure like you are working with console applications. So you have this main entry point main class that your application will be executed first, which is not existing before. So this is the boilerplate of your Azure Functions. So let me just run this real quick before explaining something here. Oh,
Yeah, this is good that you've opened up the program because we did have some questions around that specifically from one of our viewers. So
okay.
I'll ask them once you share this.
I ran the wrong project, so let me run that again. I played around about this project this morning. Actually, this project, I just saw some, what they call this, some online session also. They just use this example. So that's why I found it very informative or very cool to have in my presentation. That's why I just do it also. So in my first function, I have this, in this project, I have this function endpoint where it's just have this, oh, sorry. It's just missing. Oh, okay. So basically what I am doing here, or what the function is currently doing is it's just it is just getting the information coming from the content coming from the documentation of Azure Functions. So if I check the HTML version, sorry, the HTML view of this one. So let's just view this, or let's try this one. So this function is getting this content by using this what they call this HTTP client builder. So let me just show this one. So in this new version, you can take advantage just of different dependency injection. So in this example, I am using HTTP client where it just get the content from the Microsoft documentation, which is
Could you expand line 15 right there? See how 15 is.
I'm gonna do that later because
okay, perfect.
that's because if I can collapse that now, it will be
yeah, no worries.
okay.
No, we don't want to spoil the reveal.
Okay, so okay, so but that's not the real magic there. So since you given we have an option now to work with different dependency injection, like what we are doing when we are working with web API. So we can do that now inside Azure Functions compared before. So but if you have noticed, I also have other function here, which is just a simple greetings. So I'm gonna open this also. Okay, I'm gonna open this one, which I always don't have this. So which is just displaying this welcome message or greeting message. So if we check the implementation for that one, it's a simple fetching of names, and if this query string name does not exist, it will just it will just what do you call this? It will just write or display the value of this resource. As you can see, also we are now using this resource. We are using localization thing or RESX. We are currently we can now use this resource as like what we are using inside web API project. So we cannot have this before. Well, it can, but I think you need to do some kind of big effort to enable it.
So wait, that's a really interesting aspect. So
Yeah.
does that enable like localization? You can have different languages in there.
Yes, I've created this resource
Ah,
file. So
I
that's very
love
interesting,
that.
right?
Yeah. So wait. So how does the request have to send which locale it prefers, or does it happen implicitly, or?
You Yes, you need to pass the. But I don't want to say it yet. But yeah, yes, correct. You need well, in this case, because I'm using this resource file, you need to send the localization, the local value for that one. So let's try that now. So where's my so let's, for example, me, Ryan. Oop. And if I add the localization like what you are asking currently. So let's say for Germany, so I am getting uh the different language for that
That's so
based on this
cool.
one. So you can also, yeah, US US up that's a correct incorrect value. So let's just remove that. I think US or yeah. So if you because I set this I set English as default value, but if you are supplying different value correct value here, it will change. But as you can see here, we are not doing anything. We are sorry, unfortunately I so as you can see here in this implementation, we are not doing anything. So we are just fetching the name query string, right? So you don't see any handler for that localization. And that's the new features of Azure Function. It's a new magic that the Microsoft team Azure Functions have done for us. So let's open this. Let's open the program CS again. So that's the power of having this use middleware. So before you don't have this capability before. So and this use middleware is pretty the same one. It's the same as how you use inside your web API. So even the what do you call this, the order of executing your middlewares are all the same with Azure with web API project. And if we are opening if we open this, that's the simple implementation. We are invoking this behind the scene. So we are getting the value of my culture query string behind the scene, and that will be implemented, or it will be it will be applied to your Azure function app. So without having, imagine if you have different functions,
Mhm.
and you want to apply some kind of, let's say for example, if you have some kind of computation or calculation here, you can add it here you can have a other middleware to do that, to apply to your whole project.
And one thing to note about this is you're instantiating a culture info from the
Mhm.
client, from the request to
Yes.
your endpoint. And you're setting these culture info dot current static values. And that's
Yes.
okay because it's the context of that serverless request. So
Yes.
that's not going to be shared for any other call.
Yes. Correct. And as you can see here, you can take advantage just of the context that you are passing for this interface. So you have two parameters here, which is the function context, which means that every functions that has been triggered has this context, and that will be automatically passed it here inside your middleware. So if you browse the different method and properties here, you can, yeah, you can just explore this. Actually, there's a lot of things that you can use inside this context. Let me just bring that back. Oops. Okay, so like what I have mentioned, since this is for global use, I mean, this middleware can be will be applied to your different functions. You can also do that since I have this other function or endpoint. Let me just, what happened? Okay. Since I also have this one, Azure Functions client factory, then I can also supply the localization for this. And am not I am not doing anything here. I am actually fetching the Azure website. I'm reading the Azure website, and if you can see here, the localization has been changed based on that middleware. So I have this middleware class that will handle localization. Then, yeah, without doing anything inside my current implementation, I'm not doing anything here. So it's just automatically use that middleware for me as what we have for web API project. Okay, let me just. So as you can see, it's in German now, in Deutsch now. So if I try to, oops, to supply nothing here, it will automatically use the default English version. And for this one, I'm not using the some resource resource file locally. So okay. And if we go back to our program.cs, our main program file. Okay, let's just open this one. So I'm just calling this this URL and displayed it to the browser.
So that was the magic all along.
No, not really. I just really don't want to show it right away. Yeah. So my point here is you can do a lot of things now with Azure Functions, like what you are doing with web API projects. So I think the Microsoft team is doing like they want you to be more aligned with different projects that you are working with. So if you notice this one, it's like a web API project structure where you have this program.cs. It's pretty the same. So if you want to jump into another project, which is like, for example, I'm working for Azure Functions now, and I want to work with web API, so I will not be lost when it comes to structure because they have the same they have the same structure now. So you can do whatever you want for your project, Azure Functions project compared before, which is very limited.
Real
And
quick though, quick distinction there though. In terms of the middleware though, you were looking, or at least in the functions, you were using the function context, right? Would that function context also be usable? Say if you wrote this middleware as part of, for example, a class library, right? And you were
mhm.
wanted to use it across whether that was ASP.NET, web APIs, or Azure Functions. Would that be possible, or is this function context different than your
this
your HTTP context?
This is functions context, so that will not be shared to Web API project, unless I'm not sure if you can reference this with your. I didn't try that yet, so I think that's not possible as of the moment.
Yeah, it's an implementation of the I functions worker middleware. So we did have a question related to that specifically. Can you chain different middleware? I'm assuming.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Actually, you can do that. That's why we have this next method here, where it will
Yep.
get different middleware based on your order, based on the order that you set. So that's possible.
Awesome.
And one thing about another thing, actually, I just realized now that there's this. Actually, I just noticed this upgrade, which is I have researched this about this morning. So this is really cool. So there's this dotnet upgrade assistance where you can, let's say, for example, right now I am currently using dotnet 7, dotnet 7. So once the dotnet 8 is available for me, I can just click this upgrade upgrade menu here, and it will automatic, as per my understanding, it will automatically help me adjust implementation that currently implemented in my project. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, that's a really cool thing. Just want to share that one. Okay, I think that's. Oh, yeah, I also forgot to, let's say, I also forgot about how you are going to put this to Azure. So you have, well, different different ways to do that. So, but since we are here in, since we are using Visual Studio, you have this publish option here where you can you can connect directly with your Azure cloud account, or you can use this import profile file. So like what you are doing with your web API project. So let's just try this. Sure. Actually, I am already logged in, so this should be. Yeah. Okay. So I am already logged in, so it will automatically you listed all the function apps that you have created in your Azure portal account. In my case, I have this one. And once I click this, I will, this one will be, my Visual Studio will generate a publishing profile for me. And yeah, okay. Since I already, since when that finish, I can just click this publish button, and that will automatically that will deploy in your Azure portal or Azure account, or yeah. But of course, this is not the ideal one. So uh, you should be you should always work with automation. So that's why, so that you will have a consistent deployment process. So yeah. Okay. So next, import file. So like what I had mentioned, you can, if you already have the provisioning profile, you can just import, use that, or get that to generate for you. Something like that. Okay. So that's for the demo. I think if there's any other question, I still have some slides to show.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything specific.
I don't know if we addressed this question from way earlier, but you showed the bunch of a bunch of different triggers for these functions.
Mhm.
Is there a way to build your own triggers, or how would you handle scenarios where one of the triggers that you might need is not part of that list that's sort of already predefined?
Uh, I think that's already predefined, and you cannot do your own your own trigger. As per my knowledge is concerned, you don't have an option to do that. I'm not sure. I didn't
And,
try it yet.
And there was, yeah, that reminds me, there were other questions actually, a couple of them that were kind of themed around having some sort of resource, like on premises, that would trigger Azure functions, obviously in the cloud. So is that a scenario that you've done or experienced or are familiar with?
Yeah, actually, I'm familiar with that one, but yeah, that's also possible by using different messaging technology. So you can connect your you can probably you can connect via API management to handle different messaging or
Eh,
messages. But
Okay.
I didn't try that on in my actual project yet.
And to be clear too, when people are asking about like their own trigger, isn't that simply just the HTTP trigger? Because all it is, it's just an endpoint that's exposed that you let people call with a certain payload. So it's really, if you can make an HTTP call, that's a custom trigger, right? Or no?
I cannot say that's a custom trigger because you are just using this HTTP trigger for that one. So, you,
Right. But I guess that's my point. My point being is Azure functions are such that arguably HTTP triggers are probably the most common one. So you build this function, you put it in there, you deploy it. It's in Azure. It's sitting there. It's ready to be called, and it has a URL that you can call.
Mhm.
So that's kind of like a custom trigger, right? Or no?
No, no.
No, it's
Uh,
different. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So basically, you are just taking advantages of using this HTTP trigger by having your different sets of APIs, but that's not the only events or trigger that you can use for Azure Functions. You also have some kind of what do you call this, queuing messaging. So where you cannot use as your as a way of work creating your, yeah, your API. So like what I've shown earlier. Does that make sense? Or
yeah, yes. I was trying to look up the documentation too because more people are asking for like concrete examples of custom. Um,
custom trigger? Well,
yeah.
that's a very interesting question. So I will probably research about that. Like what I have mentioned in my in the beginning, I will learn by doing that or having that kind of challenging question. But as of the moment, I really don't know the answer about that one. Okay. If there's no other question, is there any other question that might, because I still have this slides, but yeah, maybe if there's still some question I can answer, or we can answer that.
Nothing so far. Keep going.
Okay. So let's say for hosting options, so the common or like the common plan that I always use is the consumption plan, like what we are discussing earlier, and the other one is premium plan, and the other two, which is the app service plan and app service environment, I never had a chance to try that yet, but as you can read in this different description. So for me, I would always go with consumption plan if it's not really needed for, a dedicated server, or yeah, because in this consumption plan you will only pay what you are using. So but it depends on the project requirements that you have. If you have this recurring task or processes, so it's really ideal to get this premium plan because it doesn't make sense. So Yeah, so for workflows and orchestration, we also have these durable functions where you have different approaches to work with Azure functions. Like maybe some questions are related to this one. So we have this chain call or function chaining, so which is can handle your fault which can handle your different scenarios. The fan out approach where you can have you can what do you call you can wait all the processes or all functions transaction before it returns the result to the end output. And human interaction, so this means you can have you can have this approach or what do you call this you can have this design where your functions needs an approval from different person by just yeah approving some processes. So there's this also there's this human interaction design. um this events correlation, you can also do that for processing monitoring. So for monitoring your events, you can also have that by working with durable functions. You can also check this. And the most common one, which is the HTTP-based async long-running API. So this is this is the most common one where most of the developer are using it for their APIs. But for some other complex scenarios, probably you will work with this fan in, fan out, or yeah, chaining functions. You can also check that, which is yeah, because what I have shown you guys are just a simple function project, but in the real development you will probably have different functions where you need to have this you need to have this code flow where it uh, it consolidates all the processes in one in one single process, so something like that. Okay. So yeah, so this is just a sample chaining sequencing flow. So as you can see here, it can handle different functions at a time. And for the fan out, fan in, so you can also you can also have this kind of process where, let's say for example, you are working with ordering or checkout functionality or ordering functionality. You can do your you can have different steps before sending the response to the end user. So as you can see here, I have it has different function, and it's just putting inside this task, and after all the transactions are done, it will just return the result as a single result, like I have here. I have here. So you have one function and you have different tasks here, and once all are done, it will just get the result. It will just send the result there.
So in that context, if you go back one slide, so I understand that this like top level function here is called chaining. When this is ran, it will let you call F1, F2, F3, and F4. Are those presumably functions in the same function instance, like app?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so for some of the viewers who are already working with Azure Functions, you can agree with me with this evolution of that on functions. So they've added different Azure SDKs. You can manipulate your own main classes and all dependency. You like what I have shown you. The reliability is far more better now. The model in the dependency injections also, I've also shown you about the middleware where it doesn't exist before, maybe 2 years 2 years ago. Performance gains, I never had a chance to create a simple project related to this performance, but I've seen some examples where uploading big images uh, f- uh, is is really fast. It's like the performance is very good when it comes to uploading images now compared before. And we also have telemetry support now, where you can monitor the behavior of your Azure functions. And the last one that I know is the ASP.NET integration. As you can see in the project, most of this method or class are very familiar with ASP.NET Developer API or MVC developer. So object result is from MVC, ASP MVC. So yeah, and yeah, I'm looking for more enhancement or evolutions of that inside the functions. Yeah, I've already said this. And Azure Function is an open source project. If you are that really hardcore, you can butt in and add your idea for improvement. But yeah, if you are really that, really that not busy person, you can join them doing some amazing functionalities. Yeah, you can. Yeah, if you want to start, never. Yeah, I never had a chance to change the title, but yeah, if you are ready to start working with Azure Functions, I am recommending to check this URL where you can see all of the informations that I have shown you, and you will probably learn much faster. And yeah, that's all for my presentation. Thank you again. And if you want to support my Teach to Learn, you can, yeah, follow my channels.
Awesome. Let's see. Are there any other questions that we want to bring up? We are at time here, but I just want to make sure that folks get a chance to have their questions answered.
There was one last one, and it was just they wanted to touch on open telemetry. I know it was mentioned that it's supported, but they don't know anything about it at all. So maybe just like a 10-second overview answer for that.
Yeah, actually, you have this. You have this method here, I think. Oh, wait. Let me just open some of my project. You can just enable that here.
Yeah, I don't think we necessarily need to show it. Maybe just talk to it. Like, what is open telemetry
Okay.
and why it's
Sorry.
important to have? Yeah, no worries.
So, yeah, open telemetry, if you are familiar with application insights, so where you can check, or you can go deeper with the different HTTP requests that you have inside your HTTP functions. You will get all the informations like what you have for a web API. So you will have this application insights. So that's a really good thing also. That's not existing before. So basically, that open telemetry is equivalent to for having an application insights for your Azure functions. That's it for the that's it for that one.
Awesome. All right, you can close us out, Luis.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us for this hour. I always learn something new when we have guests on. So yeah, that was really great. Thank you so much, Ryan, for joining us. For everybody else watching, just make sure to check out the other .NET live streams that are happening over at .net/live. And yeah, we're on here every Monday, so make sure to tune in every Monday. And if you'd like to learn some more about what's happening in the .NET space and within the .NET community. So with that, thanks so much, and we'll see you folks next Monday.
Awesome. Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye, friends.
Bye. Thank you.